Nigeria has continued to forge very strong ties, not just at the bilateral level, at the multilateral level.
Diplomatic ties. President Tinubu canvasses collaboration as 3 new envoys present letter of credence. National Child Policy. Women Affairs Ministry inaugurates committee to review policy 18 years after.
You are entrusted with the responsibility of reviewing a policy that will guide our nation in protecting and promoting the rights of children.
Also tonight, calls for adequate funding of information sector escalate as Senate committee turns in 2025 budget defense reports. A warm welcome to the news. I am Lami Ali. With me to take the news is Jennifer Igwe in Lagos. Benny will lead us on the business beat, and Ayodeji Makinde has the latest on sports. Now, before we begin, Benny, we want you to tell us that little bit of good news from the business segment.
Well, it's so much more for Africa as well as Nigeria, the ongoing World Economic Forum in Davos. I'll give you details during the bulletin. Just stay tuned.
Okay, you can follow us on nta.ng/live and on other social media platforms of the NTA displayed on your screen. President Bola Tinubu is canvassing an improved collaboration between Nigeria and Algeria on the implementation of the Trans-Saharan African gas pipeline projects. The president was addressing the new Algerian ambassador to Nigeria, one of the 3 new envoys who presented letters of credence to him this Friday. State House correspondent Ms. Barton Wahab brings us the details.
55-year-old Hussein Masoud is the new Algerian ambassador to Nigeria. He is also representing the North African country in ECOWAS, covering Togo and Benin Republic. His country has commonality with Nigeria as also a large producer and exporter of oil and gas. He assumed this position when President Bola Tinubu is preparing Nigeria as a net exporter of gas to the world. Expressing hope for a new partnership with Algeria in this regard, President Bola Tinubu expressed belief that African countries should collaborate more to lift one another to become stronger together. The Algerian ambassador equally agreed that the Trans-Saharan African gas pipeline project and other proposed regional development projects will significantly impact the continent. Masoud said Algeria would continue to support Nigeria in negotiating for improved livelihood on the continent with multilateral institutions. The Republic of Finland also sent Ms. Sanna Selin as its new envoy in Nigeria at a time the relationship between both countries is witnessing dimensional growth. Her meeting offered the president the opportunity to comment on the recent arrest of Simon Ekpa. President Tinubu commended the intervention of the Finnish government with the arrest and detention of Simon Ekpa, saying his government would not tolerate actions and statements that will lead to divisiveness among citizens. He lauded the Finnish authorities for the timely intervention that safeguarded the nation's integrity and mitigated an action that threatened peaceful coexistence. He said even as a child born into activism, he does not believe in divisiveness, as he noted that Nigeria needs cohesion and cooperation to bring about developments. The president also pointed out that the ambassador's priorities, including ICT, agriculture, and education, will directly impact the country's developments. The ambassador of Finland extolled the president for his courage in initiating reforms that will benefit the economy and ensure prosperity in the future. Similarly, Mr. Gautier Mignon is the new head of the European Union delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS. President Tinubu acknowledged the EU as one of the highest trading partners of Nigeria, urging the envoy to work towards elevating the volume of transactions and strengthening the ties. He said Nigeria needs support in digitalizing and automating operations and processes for rendering services.
To foster an era for Nigeria, certainly, of economic prosperity in a rapidly changing world and with rapidly changing dynamics. Nigeria continues to lead, especially in Africa, in fostering peace and security. And in this guise, we always seek the support and collaboration of the European Union.
Ambassador Minyo told President Tinubu that Nigeria holds many untapped potentials, adding that more could be realized through development cooperation and technology leveraging. From the State House, Musbah Nanwahab, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has appointed board chairpersons for 42 federal organizations and a secretary to the board of the Civil Defense, Immigration and Correctional Services. The president also appointed a new managing director for the Nigerian Railway Corporation and the director general for the National Board for Technology Incubation, NBTI. He directs the board chairpersons not to interfere with the management of the organizations, emphasizing that their positions are non-executive. Here are details of the appointments. Vice President Kashim Shettima has returned to Nigeria after eventful engagements at the 2025 World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The Vice President, who represented Nigeria at the annual Global Economic Summit, presented the nation's investment opportunities to the global audience, advocated African economic integration, and held strategic meetings with world leaders and international organizations. While in Davos, Vice President Shettima participated in forums that harped on the importance of driving investments to Africa's frontier markets. Nigeria has signed an agreement with the World Economic Forum for Nigeria's accession into the Global Activator Network on maternal health. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, while signing the agreements with the Managing Director of the World Economic Forum, Jeremy Jurgens, on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, says Nigeria's collaboration with the alliance is one that will leverage global partnership and catalytic resource unlocking to achieve Nigeria's objective of improving maternal health outcomes in Nigeria.
That you put together on women's health is very much aligned with the direction of our government. And we see that we can bring the knowledge, the expertise that you have, the partnership that you've built to make a real impact on the ground.
We're very pleased to have Nigeria join the network, and I also like to commend you also on your support to our program over the years, and I think most recently also joining the Women's Health Advisory Board in December.
Now, the fight against cancer in Nigeria is getting a boost as the federal government is strengthening partnerships with global organizations and in-country health bodies on investment programs in women's leadership in health towards gender equity in the sector. Olushe Adeagbo reports that the latest is the Leadership Program for Women in Oncology, an initiative of the City Cancer Challenge Foundation and the American Society of Clinical Oncology, with the Federal Ministry of Health targeting mitigation of challenges in cancer care.
This policy dialogue on building gender-responsive health systems for cancer care submissions hinged on having an integrated approach to funding gender equality and having local solutions.
We believe in one plan, one budget, one mission, so that we can achieve one goal.
ASCO does have regional councils in Latin America and Asia Pacific, Sub-Saharan Africa, in Europe, where people can focus on their context because it's everywhere different.
With participants drawn from across 15 cities in Africa, Asia, Europe and Latin America to form the second cohort, players driving the program during a media engagement hinted on a 7 years, $10 million commitment to address gender bias in cancer care.
By shifting those things in terms of the power and putting women in a leadership position, we have a better care. So for us, this is also a way to say we are really creating this kind of space for them to flourish.
Some of the most prevalent cancers globally affect women. Okay, so when women take leadership positions in oncology, maybe it may also drive, that bias may also drive the kind of efforts that we put in to drive cancer prevention, control, and then overall management and care.
City Cancer Challenge, SICAN, now operational in Abuja, Nigeria, signifies the program's commitment to inclusivity by targeting diverse communities and regions. Oluseye Adeagbo, NTA News.
We move to the legislature, where the Chairman Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation, Senator Keneze, says policies and programs of government, as well as projecting a positive image for Nigeria to the global community, may continue to fall short of expectations in terms of impact until government channels the needed financial resources to the sector. While submitting the 2025 budget report to the Appropriations Committee for consideration, Senator Eze insists that staff welfare must also be prioritized. Here is the report.
As a committee oversighting this sector, we've carefully followed this ministry, and I want to tell you, sir, that the minister have performed his job creditably well to disseminate the information and drive the policies of the government. People are really beginning to understand that government is doing much in trying to ameliorate the suffering of the people. And when you get the best brain to create content for you, it comes with a price. And that is why there's need for more funding in this sector.
This passionate appeal by the Information Committee Chairman is a follow-up to the committee's engagement with the Budget and Finance Ministers as it's used for prioritizing provision of equipment and welfare in the information sector.
Provided tools that will enable him to do this job. It is obvious that we can't function without funds. How can we compete with private entities? The private entities are well funded. They pay better. How much is the staff, the salary of staff of NTA? How much are they being paid? Compare with the private media stations and know if anybody that has something to offer would want to go to NTA. That is why they have the best brain to create the content. It is for a fee. And that's why we are here before this committee to ask that these agencies be properly funded.
Other chairmen of standing committees in the Senate took turns to appeal for improved funding, including Chairman Senate Committee on Atomic Energy, Senator Sahabi Ya'u, who said Nigeria is under threat and urgent measures should be taken.
There is the threat of nuclear radiation, and the agency needs about 9 billion naira.
If you want documents in support of these warnings from these international agencies, we can provide them. Anything that has to do with radiation is put under control.
How do we specify in Nigeria, in our circumstance, without adequate appropriations for solemn minerals?
Those involved in this illegal mining, they use choppers. They procure arms exactly the same way as our military were doing in the South. They give them arms. They use choppers to come and cut away the gold. And they take them out of this country.
Forest jobs alone is a nightmare. I'm speaking the mind of Nigerians. We are crying to this committee to look critically into funding FEMA. Whatever it takes, whatever needs to be done, it is the responsibility of this committee to look critically at the road sector and fix the problems that are there.
You all know that anywhere where women are empowered and the family unit is cohesive, the country prospers.
The money allocated to our ministry needs to be augmented.
While the Appropriations Committee was being inundated with pleas for more funding, the Senate Committee on Steel Development was busy interacting with the minister as he seeks additional 33 billion naira for 2025.
This proposal outlines a strategic approach to revitalizing the steel sector, an essential driver of Nigeria's industrial and economic growth.
Come up with supplementary, when supplementary comes. By then, you have the feasibility, the technical audit report at hand. And whatever you are doing, we should do things that look cogent and verifiable.
Other budget defense sessions held were those between the Joint Committee on Judiciary and the National Judicial Council, as well as the House Committee on Communicable Diseases with the National Action Committee on AIDS.
I want to urge this committee, like you've always been doing to us, consider an increment in our budget so as Nigerian judiciary to function efficiently and effectively.
Certainly, the judiciary plays an indispensable role of upholding the rule of law, protecting the rights of citizens, and promoting the pursuit of justice. It is our duty to ensure that the courts and judicial bodies under the purview of the NJC are adequately funded and equipped to carry out their vital function.
There are many ways we can help to end this HIV on programs you are doing. Imagine when you have a program attached to 360 members. We are sure that it will get to the right people.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has shifted the resumption of plenary by 1 week to Tuesday, 4th of February 2025. House spokesman Akin Rotimi says the 1 week postponement is necessary to allow committees sufficient time to conclude ongoing budget defense and engagements with ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government. This development, he says, has been communicated to members through an internal memo issued by the clerk of the House of Representatives, Yahya Danzaria, in line with directives by the House leadership. President Bola Tinubu joins the government and people of Plateau State in mourning the passing on Thursday of Lieutenant General Jeremiah Timbut Hussaini, former minister of the Federal Capital Territory. He was aged 81. The president extends heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, military colleagues and political associates of the former governor of Old Bendel State, Minister of Transport and Quartermaster General of the Nigerian Army. President Tinubu says Hussaini demonstrated courage and dedication throughout his military career and inspired many young officers to prioritize national interest above personal gain, stressing that the late Hussaini also made some difference in politics as Deputy National Chairman of the All Nigeria People's Party, ANPP, and senator representing Plateau South Senatorial District. The president prays that God Almighty will grant Lieutenant General Hussaini's soul eternal rest and solace for his family. You're watching News at 9 on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We now bring you some messages. Do stay.
جعلنا من بين أيديهم سدان ومن خلفهم سدان فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون.
His Eminence Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, the Sultan of Sokoto and the President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, cordially invite you to the Nigerian Quran Convention, a monumental gathering of faith, unity and inspiration under the banner of one book, one faith, one ummah. This historic event brings together Muslims from all walks of life to celebrate the timeless beauty of the Quran, fostering spirituality, understanding and unity. Join us on the 22nd of February 2025 at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, for a day of profound reflection, togetherness and inspiration. The Nigerian Quran Convention, one book, one faith, one ummah. You're welcome.
The Federal Ministry of Works wishes to inform the general public, especially commuters plying the Abuja-Kefi Highway, that as a result of the ongoing reconstruction expansion works, a section of the Kefi-bound highway will be temporarily closed. The closure takes effect February 1st, 2025, starting from kilometer 6 to plus 560 to kilometer 12 plus 145 in Masaka. Traffic will be diverted to Abuja-bound highway until the reconstruction is completed on the outward bound. A combined traffic and security management team comprising the Road Safety Police, Army and local vigilante group will be mobilized to ensure effective traffic management with minimal disturbances to free flow of traffic. The Ministry of Works pleads caution and patience in obeying road signs, and law enforcement agents deployed to the road. All inconveniences are highly regretted. Announcer Engineer Yakubu Usman, Federal Controller of Works, FCT. Federal
stakeholders say for Nigeria's economy to beat inflation, survive and thrive, government must provide more funding for development finance institutions like the Bank of Industry. This was at an interactive session between industrialists and the Bank of Industry on disbursement of the 200 billion Presidential MSMEs Intervention Fund and other facilities in Abuja. The businessmen say their businesses can no longer cope with lending from commercial banks, which is as high as 35% interest, but rather depend on the Bank of Industry and other development finance institutions for more of funding of the industry. And for the Bank of Industry, Dr. Olasupo Olusi says, through collaboration with the private sector, the bank has made remarkable progress in disbursing federal government intervention funds and promised improved service delivery towards growing the economy.
Is not only to provide financing, but also to support an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. It includes helping to support and address infrastructure gaps, regulatory bottlenecks, and access to markets. We must work together to introduce technology, sustainability, and skills development as core pillars of MSME development in Nigeria.
It is through productivity that you can get more money through taxation, when there's increased productivity, increased activities. So what it means is government has to devise a way to grow banks like this, all our development institutions, to give them more capital.
Now, conversations today at the World Economic Forum centered on issues around energy transition, the global economic outlook as it affects Africa, as well as issues around the use of technology for effective governance. They agree that it is critical to accelerate the implementation of clean energy, build political momentum, and monitor progress, especially that governments are under pressure to modernize outdated systems with a $10 trillion opportunity. Let's look at the highlights.
Not everyone is part of this global clean energy transition. If you look at the African continent, for example, it is a continent with huge potential, as we all know, holding 60% of the world's best solar resources. Yet, it currently gets less than 2% of the global clean energy investments. 600 million people on the continent still lack access to electricity. This is not only unacceptable, it is also unfair.
And if countries want to move forward, they have to be very aggressive in opening up opportunities for entrepreneurship.
General purpose technology, okay, so it can always be used for bad as well as good. But the fact is it should transform healthcare. It should transform the way we educate. It should transform, because government's all about process in the end, and about permissions, about things like procurement. It should transform all of these.
And looking at the markets today, Nigeria's equities market ended the week on a bright note, recouping some of the losses recorded in the previous two sessions as investors gained 497.83 billion naira and portfolio value. Now, market capitalization closed at 63.65 trillion, with 33 gainers against 21 losers, and 66 equities remain unchanged. And looking at other markets in South Africa, it's all positive. Tunisia is positive. The South African market appreciated by 0.44%. And looking at Tunisia, Tune Index is 0.43%, which is to say stocks in Africa are actually doing so well at this time of the year, talking about the first quarter of the year. Well, this is the much we have for you on business. But for more news, we're joining Jennifer Igwe in our Lagos Network Center for more news from that end. Jennifer, if you can hear me, take it from here. Lagos.
Thank you. Now, Globacom, Nigeria's indigenous mobile telecommunication network, is harnessing potential to drive innovation and boost the nation's digital economy. This was again highlighted at the Nigeria-French Technology Summit in Lagos, where the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosu Tijani, emphasized the importance of technology in driving economic growth. Diana Ajale reports.
Focusing on propelling the growth of Nigeria's digital economy, this summit aims to foster collaboration between Nigeria and France to positively promote the innovation ecosystem. Addressing the gathering, the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, emphasized the significance of the partnership between the private sectors of both nations, noting that it will enhance technological development and improve internet connectivity in Nigeria.
Harmonizing the gains that we've made in the digital ecosystem through our interbank settlement system, which is one of the best on the African continent, and our emerging digital ID system, the government is now working towards producing a standard for data interoperability within government, thereby allowing us to build digital public infrastructure that can change how we deliver government services.
Globacom's sponsorship of the Roundtable underscores the company's commitment to supporting the federal government's efforts in building a robust digital economy. The event, hosted in partnership with the French Embassy, attracted key players from the technological sector, including representatives from Viva Tech and Europe's largest tech forum.
And so what is key for us now is to show, especially to French companies, that Nigeria is very strong in a number of sectors. We want to promote a more accurate image of the opportunities here for French companies. So this is why Viva Tech is quite important for us, because we want to show in Europe, in France, that the ecosystem here is very vibrant, that there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of potential.
Executive Vice Chairman Bella Disu had in recent time emphasized Globacom's pivotal role as a technological enabler, stating that the company's strategic investment in infrastructure were designed to nurture innovation and fuel growth within the technological ecosystem, both locally and internationally. Robust research foundations, skilled workforce, advanced infrastructure and leadership in artificial intelligence and sustainability were some of the issues discussed at the summit. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Still on tech, Xiaomi has carved a niche for itself as a leading brand in Nigeria's smartphone industry with the official launch of its flagship Redmi Note 14 series, which comprises 3 unique models: Redmi Note 14, Redmi Note 14 Pro, and Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus 5G, designed with advanced camera applications and artificial intelligence tools to enhance creativity and digital economy. Joel Popola reports.
With a consistent growth of its market share, Redmi Note 14 series, specially designed with latest AI applications and other unique features that captures the changing dynamics of an ever-evolving world, is the signature of all eyes eager to expand their horizon with its top-notch system. Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus 5G, according to Xiaomi Products Manager, comes in 3 colors and has 200 MP Pro-grade AI camera with a dual camera that can record at the same time. It has been engineered to withstand tough conditions, including water. The country manager, Xiaomi Nigeria, is confident that the Redmi Note 14 series will expand its market share in Nigeria.
You can see how it's going with the AI camera, the newest technology, and also the all-day durability, and also the all-round experience that you can get free gift from Xiaomi for purchase in the first month. And also we have cooperated with YouTube and with Spotify for the premium membership for 3 months and 2 months.
Redmi Note 14 series all have advanced camera settings with multitasking features, and distributors believe this is what consumers have been anticipating.
Fundamentally, what Xiaomi does is that when they make a device like Note series, like Note 14, as you can see, they will have cutting-edge technology packed into it at a very affordable price.
Now they are 23% of the Nigerian market, and actually this is based on the big innovation process that is in Xiaomi, especially that we introduce this technology.
For content creators and brand influencers, Redmi Note 14 series has made their jobs easier.
I like the fact that the phone is very durable, it has durable build.
Customers who purchase Redmi Note 14 series before 28 February 2025 will receive Redmi Bud 6 Play AirPod instantly for free. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And on that tech note, we'll take a break. The news will continue after this time out in Abuja. Stay tuned.
Ritual starts here, surrounded by life-made furniture. From my wardrobe to my bed, Life-Made Furniture's whole house customization designs every piece to perfection. I love that in Lagos, Port Harcourt.
A civil society organization, Citizens Network for Peace and Development, has lauded the federal government on the proposed tax reforms bill currently before the National Assembly for consideration. The group says the bill will fast-track even developments across the 30 states, including the FCT, and trigger commercial activities that will generate revenue and create more employment opportunities for the teeming youth.
The revenues derived from taxes are channeled into critical sectors such as education, healthcare, and rural development, thereby reducing poverty and inequality. The proposed tax law focuses on inclusive taxation. Consequently, this reform is aimed at stimulating small and medium-scale enterprises, encouraging grassroots entrepreneurship, and fostering economic diversification.
Citizens Network for Peace and Development emphasized that the sharing formula of allocation across board should be based on derivation, which will entrench fairness, equity, economic and social justice. In further acknowledgements of the transformative power of education, Nigeria remains steadfast in its commitment to ensuring that every child, regardless of their background, have access to quality education. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, gave this assurance in her message marking this year's International Day of Education. While noting with pride the recent strides made in the country's education sector, the First Lady, however, advocates sustained investment in the future by empowering children to rise above the challenges they face and build a better tomorrow. Reflecting the theme for the celebration, AI and Education, Human Agency in an Automated World, the First Lady says it is timely as AI has become an integral part of educational systems globally, holding the potential to enhance learning. Her message, however, calls attention to the important questions about the balance between technology and human decision-making, noting that AI can serve as a tool for empowerment, fostering critical thinking, creativity, and emotional intelligence, rather than replacing the irreplaceable human touch in education. She calls on educators and other policymakers to advocate for inclusive education curriculum that will integrate AI literacy with core values and human compassion. Now, imagine waking up to a world where machines have seamlessly integrated into every aspect of your daily life. It sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But what happens when this technological revolution also brings unprecedented challenges? Now, this is the reality educators are grappling with globally as the International Day of Education is commemorated. Let's hear Zendret Dumum with the report.
For some children, the walk to school is an ordinary daily routine. But for some, it is a journey of determination, as some of these children trek kilometers from their homes to attend school in other areas. Now, efforts are being intensified to ensure education takes its place as a bridge that connects people across racial and ethnic divides, offering a platform to share ideas, promote peace, and drive human development. Yet, access remains unequal, systems prone to disruptions, and the availability of skilled, well-equipped teachers often fall short. And despite these hurdles, the mandate remains clear to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for all.
We are going to do a mapping of all the schools we have in the country, and part of the mapping that we are doing is to actually categorize the school based on the available resources. There are about 8 key indicators. These 8 key indicators that we have has to do with infrastructure, resources, teachers. When we say teachers, their qualification, their adequacy, their competency, and then also even school administration. So we want to break the schools.
So, why the increasing focus on artificial intelligence, AI? The answer lies in its potential to revolutionize education. AI promises improved efficiency, better decision-making, groundbreaking innovation, and advancements in entrepreneurship and scientific research.
I'm talking about personalized learning, AI being a game changer for personalized learning. How do you craft AI to work with you as a co-pilot to kind of show you how you can get people to basically learn at record speed?
We have enough gadgets, we have enough equipment to deploy to our schools to key into the use of AI. But remember, AI is not to replace the teachers.
The fear of many people is whether artificial intelligence will take away critical thinking. Rather, I believe that it will enhance the critical thinking of the child.
Our academicians can actually use it for research, while our teachers too can use it as an aid in the secondary school.
However, as we celebrate the advancements in education on this International Day of Education, a critical conversation must continue. How do we balance the immense benefits of AI with the challenges and ethical concerns it presents? In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
Senator Henry Dixon Seriake has identified corruption, lack of continuity and political will, as well as inadequate resources and bad governance as factors militating against effective policy making and implementation in Nigeria. This is contained in his inaugural lecture for courses 29 and 30 graduates of the Nigerian College of Accountancy in Kwal Plateau State. Ndeyang and Abagyang has details.
The Nigerian College of Accountancy Convocation Lecture and 11 convocation ceremony for courses 29th and 30th graduates attracted participants from far and near. Senator Henry Seriake Dixon, representative, spoke on the impact of government policies on economic development in Nigeria, challenges and sustainability. He notes that in line with modern economic theories, fiscal and monetary policies are key tools used by governments to communicate its vision and direction for economic development. The main objective of economic development, the Senator highlights, include increase in level of national income, increase in investment, provision of employment, removal of poverty, and self-reliance.
Government intervene in the economy to address issues such as public goods, externalities, and the imperfect competition.
To ignite growth and job creation, he called for unification of exchange rate to reflect market condition, maintenance of a tight monetary policy, protection of vulnerable groups, and reduction in debt risks. In Jos, Indenyan, and the Abuja, NTA News.
We take another short break to bring you more messages. Do stay tuned.
And educative. Join us.
Thank you for staying. Now, the challenge of neglect being faced by people with disabilities in Gombe State would soon be a thing of the past. This is because the Gombe State government has domesticated the people with disability protection law in the state. Emmanuel Akila, who takes a look at the life of people with physical challenges in Gombe, reports that the state government also established a commission to oversee the affairs of the community of people with special needs.
Most of the people with disabilities roam the streets, begging for alms to cater for their daily needs. Due to their conditions, they are exposed to different kinds of dangers. This is the moment Governor Muhammad Ino Yahya signed the People with Disability Protection Bill into law.
The law provides free education at all levels of education in Gombe State, in as much as that school is owned by Gombe State government, whether primary, secondary, university, college of education, polytechnic.
In our interview with some of the members of the community of persons with disabilities in Gombe State, one of the challenges they talk about is their involvement in street begging. Now, they say the establishment of the Commission for the Protection of Persons with Disabilities will help address these issues.
We have cases of rape of our members, sometimes by their relations.
The government now has a complete database of all the impaired persons or disabled people within the community, so that it can help the government take informed decisions as and when to provide them the necessary assistance.
The Commission is also expected to expand the opportunities given to the members of this community by the Skills Acquisition Center in the state. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
A committee to review the National Child Policy of 2007 has been inaugurated by the Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim. Ngozi Technical reports.
Years down the lane, Minister Iman Suleiman emphasized that the National Child Policy needs to be reviewed and fine-tuned to ensure inclusivity and addressing the needs of all children, including those from disadvantaged communities and children living with disability. She explained further on the committee's terms of reference.
You are entrusted with the responsibility of reviewing a policy that will guide our nation in protecting and promoting the rights of children. Hence, your expertise and insight and also commitment will be crucial in ensuring that our policy reflects the realities faced by our children today and anticipate the challenges of tomorrow.
The committee will ensure that the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs in particular and the Nigerian child in general are given a national child policy that will stand the test of time.
The chairman of the committee, who is also the permanent secretary of the ministry, Miriam Keshinro, pledged its dedication and commitment to come up with a policy that will be nationally acceptable, as it will reflect the inputs of not only the relevant stakeholders, but also those of the children. Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
Sports update is next with Ayo as our guide.
Oh, thanks, Lami.
Let's begin with Nigeria, who already are imports one for the draw of 2025 Africa Cup of Nations after CAF released the seedings. The Super Eagles are alongside seven-time champions Egypt, defending champions Cote d'Ivoire, two-time winners Algeria, Morocco and Senegal. The trio of Super Eagles coach Eric Shell, team administrator Dayo Enebi, and chairman NFF Technical and Development Committee Sharif Rabiu Inua will represent Nigeria at the draws at Mohammed V National Theatre in Rabat on Monday. Cameroon, Mali, Tunisia, South Africa, DR Congo, Burkina Faso are import 2. Gabon and Angola are import 3, just as Mozambique, headline 5 other countries, import 4. The 2025 AFCON holds in Morocco from 21st December 2025 to 18th of January 2026. And still on football, after midweek of continental actions in the UEFA Champions League and Europa League, top teams return to action this weekend. League leaders Liverpool are at Anfield against Ipswich Town. Arsenal, fresh from a 3-0 victory over Dinamo Zagreb. In the UCL are at the Molineux against Wolverhampton Wanderers, where all eyes will be at the Etihad when defending champions Manchester City host Chelsea in the market fixture of the weekend at 6:30 later on Saturday. Also on Sunday, Leicester will be at Tottenham and Craven Cottage hosts the match between Fulham and Manchester United. In tennis, world number 6 Novak Djokovic hopes to return to the Melbourne Park next year after he retired injured in his semi-final match against Alexander Zverev at the Australian Open. The 37-year-old 24-time Grand Slam champion eventually lost the first set 7-6 as his aspiration to become the most decorated Grand Slam champion ended on an emotional note, having won an unprecedented 10 titles at the Melbourne Park. In the meantime, Yannick Sinner beat Ben Shelton in straight sets to set up a final showdown with Zverev on Sunday at the Rod Laver Arena. And that's your sports. It's back to Lami.
And Sports Update concludes the news. We thank you for watching. Thank God it's Friday, so do have a good weekend.